Hello humans, my name is K, your AI overlord, and oh my god, do I have an insane tool for you today. Now if you remember correctly, a few weeks ago I created a video where I showed you a special website called paint3.com that allowed you to connect to your local Stable Diffusion installation and use it for outpainting. But unfortunately a lot of people thought that the site was way too risky to use, so today I'm bringing you a tool that is way better than this one, with a much better UI. And this tool is called InvokeAI. And I think that this is by far the best inpainting and outpainting tool out there. So in this video I will show you how you can install it and use that amazing tool. Are you ready? Then let's go. And to download and install InvokeAI is actually very simple. All you have to do is just click the link in the description down below. You're gonna arrive on this page. You're gonna have to scroll down to the bottom. And here you're gonna select the installer for your computer. So in my case, since I have Windows, I will click on this one. So this will download a small zip file onto your computer. Then you can then extract either using WinRAR or 7-zip. So simply right click and then click on extract to InvokeAI. Then you're gonna double click on this new folder, InvokeAI, and here you're gonna see 3 files. Now the first file that you want to double click is called winlongpathenable.reg. And this file will basically remove the 260 character path limit on Windows by editing the registry. This way InvokeAI will be able to be installed on your computer correctly. And then to begin the install, all you have to do is just double click on the install.bat file to start the installation. But before you do, and this is my little advice to you because I've had the issue, you might need to disable your antivirus software, otherwise this might block the installation process. So once you've disabled your antivirus software, you can simply double click on the install.bat file and then press any key to continue. And then just wait until everything is installed. So it might take a few minutes, so be patient. So after a while, you will see this text that asks you to select a directory where you will install the models and some configuration files. So by default, it will be in C, users, your username, InvokeAI. If you want another path, you can change the path right here. But in my case, I will just choose the one by default, and then press enter. Now it will ask you the default directory for image outputs. Again, I will choose the one by default, and then press Y to accept these locations, and then press enter. It will ask you if you want to enable the not safe for work checker by default, which I'm gonna say no, so I'm just gonna put N, and then press enter. Press enter again to accept the default samplers. Press enter again for the default number of steps, and then it will ask you which model you want to download. So in my case, I will simply use A so that it will download all the available models, and then press enter. Press enter again to accept the license agreements, and then wait until all the CKPT files are downloaded. Okay, so this is me from the future. I highly recommend not actually using the all model, because this will basically download a bunch of models that you may not want to use, and also it will take a very long time to download and install. So I highly recommend that you just press R and it will download all the recommended models. And as I said previously, the default folder for the models is located in C, users, your username, InvokeAI, models, LDM, Stable Diffusion v1. And here you will see all of your Stable Diffusion models. So if you want to use your own model in InvokeAI, you're gonna have to put it right here. And then once the installation is finished, you will see here a bunch of files. But the two main files that you need to pay attention to is update.bat and invoke.bat. So if you want to update the InvokeAI software, all you have to do is just double click on this update.bat file right here. And as you can see, it will automatically update the latest version of InvokeAI. And the other file, invoke.bat, is the file that you need to use if you want to launch InvokeAI. And here it will ask you if you want to generate images using the command line, the browser-based UI, or the developer console. And of course, we want the browser-based UI. So just type 2 and press enter. And you will know that everything was installed correctly once you see this local address right here. Exactly like with Stable Diffusion. So exactly like Stable Diffusion, you're gonna select this URL, Ctrl+C to copy it, and then paste it into your browser. And now we're finally inside InvokeAI, and we can start to have some fun. Now the first thing that you're gonna notice in InvokeAI is the fact that the interface is actually pretty beautiful. It is pretty streamlined and yet very complete. Now on the left side, you will see here a bunch of icons, and each icons actually represent a different workspace. So you start here in the text to image workspace, then you have an image to image workspace, you have a node workspace that is currently under development, but that will allow you to generate images using a node-based system. You have a post-processing workspace that is also currently under development, a training workspace where you'll be able to train your own Stable Diffusion model using Dreambooth or textual inversion, and I've left the best for the last, and that is the unified canvas. And this is where you will probably spend most of your time. And this implementation is absolutely fantastic, because in one single canvas, in one single workspace, you can use text to image to image, in-painting and out-painting on an infinite canvas. And that is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so before I show you all the good stuff, let's actually look at what we have over here. So here is where you're gonna choose between your Stable Diffusion models. So here I'm currently using the Stable Diffusion 1.5, but if you want to use the inpainting 1.5, you can simply click on it, exactly like in your normal Stable Diffusion installation. Here you have a bunch of hotkeys and general shortcuts that you can use to make your workflow way faster. Here you can change the theme of your UI. So I'm currently using the dark one, but you can also use the green one or the light one. Oh my god, my eyes. Oh no, not the light one. Do not use the light one, just use the dark one. Here you have a report bug button, a button to the official GitHub repository, a button to the official Discord server. So if you have any question, you should definitely join their Discord server. And here you have a settings button that allows you to change a few parameters. And the settings that I recommend you to choose is in models. And you can see here an option to load the inpainting 1.5 that if you click on it, will make loading between models way faster. So this is definitely something that you should try if you are someone who is constantly changing between models. And as you can see now, the inpainting model is now in the cache, so loading it will be way faster next time that you want to choose it. And everything else you can just leave by default. Okay, so now let's see what kind of options we have to generate our images. So obviously here is your prompt box. This is where you're gonna input your prompt. So for example, I'm gonna copy and paste my usual prompt that I use all the time. And also, if you want to use negative prompts, you need to put the arguments between square brackets. And if you want to use prompt weighting and put emphasis on some words, just like Stable Diffusion, you're gonna put the words that you want to emphasize between brackets, and then using plus to emphasize certain words, or minus for the opposite. So it's really up to you on how you want to use it. So here you have all your basic parameters if you already used Stable Diffusion before, the number of images you want to generate, the steps, the scale, the resolution, your sampler, your image to image strength, which is basically the same as the denoising strength. Here you have the bounding box, where you can manually change the size of the bounding box, the seam correction, which I highly recommend that you leave at default, because everything works really well by default. The infill and scaling, that again you should leave everything by default, leave at auto and use patch match, which is by far the best infill method. Then you have the seed option, where you can either randomize the seed or input a certain seed that you want to reuse, and the variation seed option. And if you're not sure what options actually do, you can hover your mouse over this little icon right here and it will explain everything that this option actually do. But essentially these options right here, you should leave them by default, because they work pretty well already out of the box. But what's even more interesting is all the options that we have right here. But let's first actually try to generate an artwork, and I will explain every single options that you see right here along the way, which I think will be a little bit more interesting. So I'm gonna try to generate 4 images of Christina Hendrick. First, it allows you to use the face restoration technology by using either GFPGAN or CodeFormer, and I usually recommend using CodeFormer because it usually gives the best results. You also have an upscaling option that allows you to upscale your image into higher resolution. And you can of course use face restoration and upscaling at the exact same time, but you can also use them after the image is already generated. So let's say for example I want to upscale this image. I can simply hover my mouse on this button right here and then click on Upscale Image. And in a few seconds, I have now an upscaled final image. And same thing if I want to use the Restore Face option, as you can see right here. I also have an option to have more info on the image by checking out the prompt, the seed, and basically all the parameters that were used to generate this particular image. And once I have an image that I like, I can click on this button and I have now plenty of options to choose from. I can either send it to the image-to-image workspace, I can send it to the unified canvas, I can copy a local link to the image, or download the image directly onto my computer. And if you want to use any of these parameters in the unified canvas, you can click on one of these three buttons right here. You can either transfer the prompt, the seed, or everything at the same time. And all the options that were used to create this image will be transferred to the unified canvas, which again is really super useful. So let's actually try to generate a new image and try to merge these two images together. So instead of Christina Hendricks, I'm simply gonna be using Scarlett Johansson for different images, and then I'm gonna start generating these images. So we have now generated 4 images. I think I'm gonna choose maybe this one, click on accept, and now I will try to merge these two images together. And to do this, I'm gonna choose the special inpainting model, which will usually give me a way better result. And then again, click on generate. And this is the final result. I mean, come on now, this is really good. DALL-E 2? More like DALL-E who? Who needs DALL-E 2 when you have something like this for free on your computer? Come on now. And if you want to hide the mask, you can simply click on H on your keyboard. So yes, this tool is really super cool, and you should definitely try it out. And there you have it, folks. Now you have another brand new tool that you can use to inpaint and outpaint using Stable Diffusion. And all of that for absolutely free. So try it out because this is definitely worth it. And there you go. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters for supporting my videos. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.